So welcome. I'm by the name Agri Kevin. So I'm going to talk about the cultural and ethics perspective related to mortality and death. Uh, and I'm going to talk it in parts. So I'm starting from part one. Part one is all about perspectives on death around the world. Here we are going to look at different perspectives about death around the world in different countries. So for my example, I've selected a country called Mexico. In Mexico, there is a death game. A death game. This is refers to as La Cavera Catrina. La Cavera Catrina is a skull made of sugar which is used to decorate a day of the death altars. So it is often redecorated with colorful icing, and the name of the living person is written across the top, and someone is given like a gift. As you can see, there are flowers. The flowers accompany the event, whereby flowers symbolize life while cups symbolize death. As you can see from the picture, is that here you can see like so there is also a point whereby we are talking about the French dance. The French death dance, it involves living and dead creatures dancing together. As you can see here, we have a skeleton. This is a living creature, skeleton, living creature, and skeleton. So you see, it is arranged in a way to show that human being and skeleton are trying to communicate. They are trying to deliver a message that once I was also a human being like you. Maybe this is the next step that you are going to be in the next future. So it's trying to give hope for those guys that the this is like a step every human being has to, at long last, has to be like a skeleton in to have a small explanation. As we can see, the artwork contains a message of living creatures. As we have seen in the French, they are showing that death is awaiting. Death is something that is there, and the living and the dead, they have a kind of connection, because the message that the skeleton they are communicating to the living people is that once they were also like them, and they expect them also to be like them in the future. So when we look at in Calfera, the Katrina, the sky communicates a strong message to the living. It's trying to convey about how death is sweet. It's not something that people should be afraid or should be worried about it. So there is a message that is trying to convey. So let's talk about part 2. Part 2 here we are talking about perspective on death and in the United States. So in part 1 we talked about different perspective outside the United States. Now see the social and the demographic factors about death, mortality and death in the United States. We found that both demographic and social death have contributed to change in perspective about death. So in past 100 years, there was like dramatic changes in size, shape and distribution of American population. Since people are increasing in population, there are some people moving from one area to another, for instance, the migrants and so on. An example is that many Native American and Buddhists alike believe that there is a living coexistence between the dead. So when we look now the trends that have been from 1900, we found that the overall mortality rate in the United States happening. In 1900, the average US newborn could expect to live to 47 years of age. But when you try to compare it in 2010, we found that in 2010, they could expect more than 30 additional years. You see that the life expectancy is going now it's going to up to 78. You see there is an increment in that area. Let's look at what was causing death at that time. In 1900, the top causes of diseases of death were infectious diseases. Those are like communicable diseases like pneumonia, flu, tuberculosis, gastrointestinal infections and so on. So you see these are kind of diseases that were. So let's also look about example of a movie which I chose. I chose the movie called Rambo 8. Rambo 8 is a movie whereby Rambo joins a group of mercenaries to venture into war in Burma to rescue a group of Christian aid workers who were kidnapped by the ruthless infantry unity. So in the movie, almost towards the end, there are around 20 minutes, there are super violence where people are beheaded, their bodies torn, stunned, they are being shot by bullets and so on. So this showing that the rate at which people are dying and suffering, others are, their heads are chopped and so on. So when we talk about this thing, we found that this is related to American popular culture, because we found that in American popular cultures there are things that they put in printed media, in internet, maybe about deaths of celebrities and so on. For instance, in death of celebrity, you can find that they put the pictures of the dead people on internet everywhere, showing how the person died, how they are laid in the covenant and so on. This is changing the perspective of people about death, because they are seeing death as a normal thing happening day and live in movies, in internet. For instance, they gives example of the video clip of Saddam Hussein being hanged that rotated almost all over the social media. People are able to acquire it. So they are making this thing to look normal and people are used about this thing. So there are so many things, like even the headlines of new magazines now, to attract the attention of the people, maybe of an accident or something. They put the image of dead people so that people can easily attempt to read the article to get more information about that. So to move on, the things, death and mortality things one should be aware of. When you are dealing with that, you should be aware of the language of the community, because different language people speak different languages, that if you get to help them, you need to know their language. Cultural values and norms. Here we talk about things that they prefer, because different cultures have different beliefs, they have different norms that are guiding them, and some values that one should respect, how they feel like they should be respected. The religion and religious beliefs, as we have said, that to work with people as maybe healthcare provider, or you need to be aware of some religious beliefs of certain people. This will help you, because people will not feel violated if you respect their religious beliefs and so on. So to move on, in conclusion, we say different people have different perspective about death, as we have seen that in the video of Katrina in Mexico, and also the French dance in death dance, in France. Ethics and cultural factors have impact on death, as we have seen that the way they put the pictures, the scary and the skeleton things affect on cultures. We have seen so many things like beliefs, norms about different issues. There have been changes of perception about death from 1900, basing on social and democratic. As we have seen in the United States, there are things that have changed. They have affected the way people think about death in general. So to conclude, this is where the information was retrieved from, and to make this presentation. Thank you and goodbye.